Identity. Ahamkara. Okay, in the Tantras, we have identity. We don't have the concept of ego. You know? In the modern world, there is a word called ego. So say, you look at me talking, you film me, and then finally you'll say, man, I can show you how many places he's egocentric. You know? And I'm like, no, I'm expressing happily. You know? So the concept of ego is a funny concept. It makes you judge another being. You know? We have only a very simple concept. Your true nature, whoever you are, what's your name? Suvi, and that's it. Suvi is Suvi. We don't talk about anything outside. But when Suvi doesn't follow the Dharma and she becomes a cat.
I like cats.
I love them also. I love them, yeah.
No
Then
problem.
that is a fiction. You know what I mean? It becomes a fiction. And the fiction is what we are saying, don't allow virtual selves to rule your life. They're fictions. They're not, we don't call it ego. Tantra doesn't call it ego. It's just fiction. Of course, if you go and buy many books on yoga, they will say, you know, the ego, blah, blah, blah. They are blunders of translations. In the, you know, when mankind met first, they had to make do with simple languages. You know what I mean? After many years, you know, the West came to East, and then they were trying to understand the Eastern guys. You know, the language was like this. You know? All the books, if you look, are old translations. And if you look at the new books, they are old translations translated into new translations. So throw away all those books and be happy. You know what I mean? So there is no fiction, right? There is fiction, there is no ego. Somebody can go into virtual representations, not honoring themselves. And that is fiction. So nobody is egotistical, nobody is wrong, everybody is right. Sometimes some of us, you know, we get cockeyed. And that is our problem of life. So then a grandfather like me will bring you back to alignment and say like, walk, babe, walk straight. For your benefit. If you say you're a giraffe, I'll die. You're a human being, a person, you know? Sometimes people even come and say to me like they are angels and Shivas and Shaktis and all this kind of stuff. I go on the inhaler. I need oxygen. You know what I mean? First acknowledge yourself, then every Shiva and Shakti will reside in you. You know, when we have a fiction, let us say, and then you go and give more validity. You give every day like, you know, mindful of my anger. I'm mindful of my anger. Oh, I'm mindful of my anger. You are actually re-impressing into your unconscious anger. And then what happens is that your software, the neuroplasticity as they call nowadays, works that way. It becomes a connection of anger, emotions, and this and that, because you're always, you know, like looking at it from a perspective of like, I have anger. You are trying to identify the problem. I'm saying,
Trying to find the source.
that is what I'm saying. That is psychology. We always go and look for the problem. You know what I mean? We are looking for the problem. And the problem is actually a fiction. And that is why you are finding it difficult to find the problem. Because if it is a fiction, you'll never find it. Like I want to marry Cinderella. It's not possible. And then I force my wife to become Cinderella for me. It's not possible. So don't look at it that way is what I'm saying. Take a new culture of life, something really new, something for yourself, only for yourself. It can be anything, you know. It can be Buddhism, for example. You know, Buddha says nice things like right speech, right thought, right views. It'll be useful. Something. You know, Christianity, for example, Jesus Christ, compassion, you know, higher emotions, you know, bigger picture of existence. Don't look for problems. Really don't look for problems. And don't go to the psychologists anymore. Really have one determined conclusion in your life. I will make my life happy by doing something for myself, following. Any psychologists here, please forgive me. You know? After a while, I'll send them to you. Just 1 second, please. So, take a culture, make a new culture, anything. You know? Even go and sit in the church. Please don't get angry, those feminist people. You know? Church is a very beautiful place. I'm not a Christian, but it's a very silently beautiful, clean space. Go and sit there. Just sit there. Don't worry about the preaching. Just sit there. You will find everything linking back to yourself. I get linking back in the church. I even get linking back in the bathroom. When I take a shower, I reconnect everything and like, wow, happy. You know? And to your, just 1 second, to your idea of happiness, I'm not denying. I'm not. By accepting everything, there is no denial. It is when you don't accept, then there is denial. And when you accept everything, you accept every turkey. You know, when I was a kid, when I looked at turkey, it was so ugly for me. There was no feather here, and I was like, this ball turkey, you know? And then I was looking, and I was comparing with peacock. You know, don't do all that. A turkey is beautiful by itself, a peacock is beautiful by itself. This contrasting, comparing, this comes from the emotion of fear, believe me. This has to be dropped. Don't contrast yourself, don't compare yourself, don't compare others, don't do that, don't judge. It's, in the big word, it's called judgment. And don't do that. That is the way of passively punishing the world, isolating yourself, and crying for nothing. And that's all, this is what I call fiction.